Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are sitting here with Ryan Woodruff. And Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name's Ryan. I work for an organization called Clear Path for Veterans. I serve as the CEO. I still feel weird saying that's the title I hold these days, but it's a great organization located right out of central New York.
Excellent, excellent. I'm jumping right into it. Tell us about the program.
I was talking to some of my colleagues about this today, guys I work with. Just for reference, the people I work with, most of them are veterans themselves, which is what I think makes ClearPath so special. It's veterans working to solve veteran issues,
Yeah.
challenges. Um, when I answer this question, I often find that it can be a little bit overwhelming talking about what we do because we do so much. And in describing ClearPath, I don't want any veteran listening to this to think that this place only exists for veterans that are facing significant crisis, be it mental health, suicidal ideation, homelessness, or any of those things. Those are issues that we combat, but we also are a physical location, a safe place for veterans to find community, camaraderie, to just be themselves, to leave
Yeah.
all this stuff at the door, to escape the matrix for a little bit. We do a lot of different things. One being our canine program. So we place service dogs, trained service dogs to veterans diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury. We also offer peer support. So peer support, it's pretty widely known these days, right? It's veterans who have served themselves, often in periods of conflict, that can connect with other veterans and help them navigate some of the challenging dynamics of moving from the military to the civilian communities. Those issues are like near, far, and wide, right? Like it could be something like navigating your benefits or getting into college or finding employment, or what's really like the next chapter for post-retirement, or finding fitness in your community, or it could be substance abuse and homelessness and food insecurity. We see it all, really. It's a very, very broad spectrum. Our peer mentors, we're in central New York, but we cover pretty much all of New York State. We have peer mentors that live within these five different regions of New York. New York's huge. I think when people think about New York State, often they immediately think of like Long Island, the city, and it's not the case. It's more rural
Mm.
than not. A lot of underserved communities, and the special thing about the peer mentors is they're all over the place, right? We have peers in the southern tier of New York, North Country up towards Watertown, Fort Drum. We have them out towards Buffalo and Rochester, Hudson Valley. There's only a few counties within New York State that we aren't covering yet, but pretty much we can cover the whole state. If a veteran calls us anywhere in the state of New York, we can actually deploy those peer mentors to wherever the veteran is. So
And does
that's
that, do you
Go
go
ahead.
outside of New York as well?
Yeah. There's two programs that we represent nationally. That is our canine program and this a new program we call Operation Socrates. So DoD Skill Bridge. It's a DoD Skill Bridge program that helps active duty service members who are pending transition get into K through 12 teaching jobs. It's a 180-day internship. Right now, we're in, I believe, 18 different states. And what that looks like is we set up partnerships across the country with different school districts. And it's all contingent on where the service member is going to be going back into their community. Once we have that information figured out, they'll let us know who their school district is, connect us with their HR departments. We set up a partnership and get them teed up for a 180-day, um, basically train the trainer program at these schools. And we're finding that there's been a lot of success in career placement. Great opportunity for active service members looking to find meaningful work. And it's also helps combat the teaching shortage that we're seeing across the nation. So K9 and Operation Socrates right now are primarily national. Everything else is at this time pretty much local to New York State.
Okay. And and so you guys are it's almost like you guys are a conduit for these programs. Would that be fairly accurate to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing we've seen over the years, we've been around for 15 years, and we've seen a lot of different, you know, challenges, areas of opportunity for veterans that are leaving the military. And the core programs were built based on those concepts, just
Okay.
understanding who we serve and figuring out like what can we do to really have an offering that's not duplicating something that already exists within the community or nationally.
Yeah, because that is definitely something I see. I mean, just doing this, we'll see some programs that do very similar things. Now, that's totally great because some of them, depends on the location. So if you're in California and one's in Ohio and there's another one in Nevada, probably go to the Nevada one. Also, the more programs there are that do the same thing, the more opportunity you have to get access to that. But it's obviously also good when there's some people thinking, okay, this is well covered. Let's kind of focus on this area over here that doesn't get as much attention. Like this is the first I've heard of a program like Socrates. So it's good to hear that. And I will say too, something we talked about on the show. Of course, I never know who listens to some episodes or all of them. But just getting veterans in one place. And we even talked about it on the last episode where I'm seeing a very positive outcome from the consistency of like we're used to, especially for people that came in at 18, right out of high school or came in out of college, is a lot of the ways people make friends is when they're forced to be in a group together with a bunch of other people. And when you don't have that, when you lose it and you're used to it and you're not so outgoing, it's kind of harder to make friends and have a little community to be a part of, which is, I think, one of the big things that impacts mental health is, if you don't like being alone, having to be alone can really suck. So giving more outlets for people to be able to meet up with other people, find out what they have in common, make new friends, all that, I think is a really underrated. I mean, a lot of people are aware of it, but I think it's even more underrated as far as just how important that kind of thing is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree further more. I mean, I was listening to a show today about there's a limit to how much work you can do on yourself. And at some point, that plateaus and you got
Yeah.
to look outward and really, and that's a big part of what we do too. I did say there's a lot of veterans that we work with. It's a safe place for veterans, active duty service members, but also their families.
Hmm.
So we integrate really well with the community, family members, caregivers. I mean, it's a pretty all welcoming approach, right? And we're actually really focused this year on making meaningful connections with the business community too,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
bringing veterans into that space to
Hmm.
network, to just uh, you know, learn about some of the skill sets that they may not even really be aware of or understand that they developed in the military while they connect with these business leaders. I often tell people like veterans in terms of recruitment, they're like a really good segment to focus on. They're very resilient. They're used to working under pressure. They're adaptable.
Yeah.
More often than not, they're on time, well
Yeah.
dressed. Like they check all these boxes that seemingly are missing today.
Yeah. I actually wrote an article on LinkedIn. That was probably a couple of years ago now. But it was about what veteran owned for business can mean. Granted, this also applies to veterans in the workplace and obviously it doesn't apply to 100%, but there are those, and we talk about soft skills all the time on the show, but you get those soft skills beaten into you, especially when you're a very, very moldable age, like 18, and you learn time management, back planning, being on time, in the right clothing, attention to detail to varying degrees. And so yeah, that's a really big point we like to drive home because you got all these guys that think like, oh, well, I did this in the military, and so what skill do I have working for H&R Block? And it's like, well, actually, you have a lot of them. And another part of that, I think I have it in that article, but and I love driving home because driving this home because a buddy of mine was getting his MBA early in my Army career. We were roommates, and I went to a yellow ribbon thing before deployment, and it was I went to entrepreneurship class, and they were talking about how if you take 10 MBA grads and 10 veterans, the veterans have fairly better, like so almost way better odds of success than the MBA students do because of what was hammered into their heads that success requires. And a lot of it doesn't require talent, like showing up on time. Although some could argue for some people that would be a talent. But
It doesn't
um,
surprise me. I've never heard that,
yeah,
but that's incredible. And
yeah,
that's probably why we see a lot of these entrepreneurship programs for veterans being so successful these days.
yeah. And it made me think of that when you said you primarily the people that work with you are veterans. It's
Hmm.
kind of the same thing,
That's right.
Plus, there's that. It's good to integrate in civilian life, which we'll obviously talk about soon. But getting into civilian life, but having some connection, you can't totally change who you are. So being able to have the same dark humor, jokes, all that kind of stuff with
Yeah,
people who get it.
100%. And it's all fun too when we're inviting community members into that too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, we have a very mixed group at work and it's fun, it's incredible. I mean, that's definitely an element, the dark humor,
mhm.
dogs,
Oh
just
yeah,
really we're there for everybody's there for wholesome, the right reasons, right? Like it's a great mission that people can get on board with and over 40 staff right now are supporting this up at ClearPath and it's been an honor.
good deal. Yeah, we had this joke in our truck in Afghanistan because there's stray dogs everywhere. Not one of them is owned by anybody, as far as I understand. And so we agreed, killing a human, sad. You never know. They could have been Taliban. Dogs, 100% of the dogs are not Taliban. So
That's
we
right.
were we were very pro dog. There was no dog killing at
I'm
all.
glad to hear that. That's
Yeah.
not always the case, but I'm really glad to hear
We
that.
we did have a driver drive over hedgehogs, but he left the dogs alone. So
Oh, that's fair.
yeah. Um, so what's probably the best way to get started with your program? And I kind of stuttered there because I was going to say I'm sure it has to do with the website, but
Yep.
if that's the best, and if there are other good ways to reach out as well.
Yeah. So we have found that the best way to connect anybody to any one program is going to be through a process we call centralized navigation. And there's so much to choose from at ClearPath. We didn't even get into all of it. It can, like I said, it can be a little overwhelming. So
Sure.
we have specialized staff that will work with veterans on finding them the pathway that's right for them. And
Hmm.
that could be it could be wellness, culinary, peer support, canine, like an all-inclusive approach. It might be wood shop, art therapy. It's going to be different for really everybody depending on their unique circumstances. If
Hmm.
a veteran says that they have, kids and a family and they're really looking for activities, particularly in the evenings, we're going to set
Yeah.
them up with a different pathway. Or if
Okay.
they're looking for social networking or uh, finding other veteran families in the community to connect with. We have opportunities for that as well. So yeah, the website has, different intake forms available on there, depending on what you're looking for, but it's all going to drive everybody to the same spot. And then once you get plugged in, there's a lot of potential.
Well, then I would guess too that you guys are probably open to having new programs that you connect with as maybe a veteran comes in and you're like, oh, we don't really have that, but we're gonna find one. Is that safe to say?
If we don't have it, we first go to our network, right? I mean, we
Hmm.
have a great summit group that we call full of providers, both on the civilian side and the veteran and military side that are doing different things,
Yeah.
all contributing towards veteran services. So we first go to our network and see like what's available, and
Hmm.
then as we continue to do that work, at the end of the year, we always do a year in review. What have we found to be uh, some of the cases that we see often that we don't have a resource for, and what should we do about that?
Yeah.
So it is an area that we continue to challenge ourselves in.
How about any success stories or good examples of a veteran utilizing your program and then kind of maybe they were in a rough spot, got better, maybe they were doing pretty good, were curious, ended up in a place where they were doing things maybe recreationally or work-wise that they didn't foresee doing.
There's many, and I'll just speak generally, but there's with our peer mentors, they are doing a lot of outreach to disadvantaged veterans, veterans who have found themselves homeless for long periods of times, um, that have helped get them off the streets into housing, stable, and then into employment. um, Dealing with things like food insecurity, identifying those root causes, doing financial planning workshops, and helping veterans become financially free. There's been many cases where that's happened as well. Um, for me personally, one of the more powerful stories that I get to see often is when somebody graduates from our canine program. And I will say, yeah, there are a lot of service dog providing organizations in the country,
Mhm.
yet we still see that it's about an average of 3 to 5 years before veterans are able to receive these service dogs in any given program. We do our best to manage our list to serve veterans within a given year. Back in 2022, we became accredited by Assistance Dogs International. So big governing body that establishes very high standards in the service dog industry. We did that not just for the organization, but primarily for the veterans receiving this service. Um, it removes a lot of barriers in terms of travel, access, and so much more,
Okay.
including benefits at the VA as well. They actually cover veterinary health and travel benefits as well. But we had a veteran connect with us from Oregon in 2022, right after we became accredited. Vietnam vet said he was reaching out to a couple providers, that weren't able to provide him with a service dog for up to 5 years. And, this just happened to be this unique time for us in which we were moving into a more national landscape for this program. So I connected with him and I said, like, let me get you started. We'll get you moving through the process and we'll see where we can go from here. Within 6 months, we were able to get him to
Wow.
ClearPath. So from Pacific Northwest, get him to ClearPath, all expenses paid, bring his wife out. He was with us for 2 weeks where we did training every day. And it was like on the third day, when he had actually found out which dog he was getting matched with, that he just looked at us like in 53 years since I've been back from Vietnam, there's been nothing more powerful than this experience. There's been nothing
Wow.
more healing. And it doesn't end with that 2 weeks, right? They go back home and they continue to receive these mutual benefits of canine companionship, human animal bond. He continued to see his therapist and was getting, great remarks and case notes from his therapist about all the progress he was making. Just really helped open him up. And for me, that's like helping the Vietnam veteran population is huge, right? Because
Yeah.
for guys like us who got out in the, post 9/11, um, not easy, but certainly better than them,
Yeah.
100%. And a lot of the work that those guys did and a lot of the stuff they went through helped us, pave the way
Yeah.
for our transition. So that's one example.
Yeah. It's success like that is what excites me more than any dollar amount, you know? And especially where you said helping the Vietnam generation, there's less and less of them. They did not come out at an easy time. Yeah, I just can't imagine, that them getting spit on, things like that, getting called baby killers while, we on that front, our generation definitely had it easier because the only time it's all been support. The only time I got ragged on was by another veteran, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's support, people wanting to pay for meals, things like that, take care of you. It is people willing to go above and beyond so that be able to help that guy and get him squared away. I am curious, do you know about maybe what your average time is for getting people a dog? If the national is 3 to 5,
We keep it
maybe
under a year.
okay.
So the way in which we do that though is the thing is like we could continue to build a wait list if we wanted to,
Hmm.
right? I just don't feel it's ethical that after you have to get on the phone with a veteran at the end of a year long and tell them it's going to be 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So we cap the number of
Okay.
applications we'll take within a
Okay.
year based on the number of dogs we have in training and how many we anticipate that are going to graduate.
So
We
people
still
should
receive
sign up.
it referrals. We just push them out to other organizations if we can't
Okay.
serve them within that year.
Yeah. So get in on January 1st is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, as soon as possible. I,
Yeah.
I always tell people like if you're even thinking about it, just apply. At least you get on the
Yeah.
list and we'll reach out and if circumstances change, that's fine.
Yeah. That's good advice. What other advice do you have for people starting with your program? Clear Path specifically.
Yeah, a great entry point for ClearPath is our canteen luncheons. Every Wednesday, we put on a culinary experience called Canteen.
Okay.
It's not a new term. Back in World War II, and service members were returning home. They were going into a town called North Platte in Nebraska, and the community welcomed all these service members home with food, home cooked meals, and they just like intentionally received them, right? That's what we do every Wednesday. We have
Yeah.
a great campus, a great room, a culinary program, volunteers, and they put on an incredible meal. And we'll have anywhere from 150 to 200 guests that are just breaking bread, being together, low barrier to entry, learning about the organization. And all the while, we have peer mentors on site that are sitting down having lunch with folks and just talking about life, right? It's
Hmm.
we're not in the business of numbers or trying to make a quota or anything like that. We're in the
Yeah.
business of making meaningful connections and healing and connection and community and restoration. So uh if a veteran is just coming out to hang out and grab coffee, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But canteen is a great entry point, right? Nationally, you can always call and just have a chat with our welcome coordinator. You can reach out to some program folks if you have questions.
Hmm.
We have, decent content that we're pushing out on our social channels. YouTube for sure. Like we got a bunch of mini docs on YouTube that highlight some of the impact of our programs. That's always a good place to go just to kind of see if it's something you're looking for. And if nothing else, if we don't have it, again, we're going to find you someone who does. So
Yeah.
there's no risk in just reaching out and connecting.
Awesome. That's great. Um, Far as your area, if there's someone in New York area that wants to see, kind of going back to the website, is that a good way for them to see what's available versus somebody not New York curious what they could, but granted you said the two things, but a way for people to kind of see what's available to them as far as different programs.
Yeah, definitely check the website out. There's an area you can sign up for a newsletter.
Okay.
And every month we have new stuff going on. I mean, we're just scratching the surface right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure.
really,
Yeah.
it's we have something going on nearly every day up there.
Hmm.
And it's nice to have a local establishment to go to,
Yeah.
but we recognize that there's more we can do nationally too. So, be it the K9 program or Operation Socrates, even if you are finding yourself in challenging circumstances, we'll still connect you with a peer mentor and get you, we'll offer the same level of case planning that we would offer any local veteran. It's just we
Hmm.
find it more meaningful when we can sit down and have coffee with people face to
Yeah, oh,
face as
yeah.
opposed to the virtual world and whatnot.
Yeah, I think the face-to-face is a lost value, not even just military wise. And who knows, may I wouldn't be surprised if military people preferred it more because there is so much human interaction.
Right.
Um, far as going through the program then, so someone reaches out, they get matched up with a peer mentor, and then where does it kind of go from there?
Again, it depends. It all
Okay.
depends on the unique circumstances of that individual. We take
Okay.
a one size fits one approach. If they're going to get connected to the K9 program, that's going to look a lot different than if they're going to move down a wellness tract and do
Okay.
breath work, modalities, massage therapy.
Yeah.
If we're looking at integrating multiple programs, then they can expect to be contacted on a routine basis by our program folks to get them set up for various opportunities, right? So
Yeah.
it could be coming out for a day of breath work, and then it might be, having a culinary experience, getting peer support on a different day. Um, it's all different, right? It's not, you're not going to clear path for a 6 to 8 week program, so to say,
Right. Yeah.
unless you're just been selected specifically for like our service dog program.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're connected with a peer mentor, you might be working with them for, it could be a week, it could be 6 months.
Yeah.
It just depends, right? Like
Depends. Yeah. On the veterans' needs.
right,
Okay.
100%.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, I don't have any more questions regarding ClearPath. If you have anything else that stands out you think you need to mention, love to hear about it. Otherwise, we can jump off the episode. Anything else?
No, I think this about covers it.
Okay.
Biggest thing is we definitely want to connect with veterans and family members out there. That's the other part I'll keep hitting on is that everything we do at ClearPath is available to family members as well. So encourage everybody to reach out.
I will ask them before we jump off of here. What are a couple, can you give a couple examples of just family programs that would be good ones? Say somebody, hey, I just want something to do with my family.
Mhm.
Do you have any good examples?
Yeah, last year we partnered with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, and did some peer support groups where family members and veterans would work in subgroups at ClearPath, different groups for a couple workshops, and then come together for some um, topic discussion and different areas and related specifically to family dynamics. We also offer what's called a Friday night fire. So this is really for, again, it's kind of localized, but for family members that are like coming home from work on a Friday, looking for an activity to bring their kids out to. Sometimes we do cooking classes with kids. Sometimes we have an outside person come in and host an activity. We've done all kinds of different things. We've had like magicians come and do kids programming. We've just stuff that's generally fun for kids in the family. Um, Massage therapy, wellness, all of the things we do within our wellness program are specifically marketed and available for family members as well. The one thing that we haven't evolved on yet as far as the family support stuff is our canine program, but that's something we are looking to do in the future.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, now I am all good on questions. Thank you for that, Ryan. It's been awesome to hear about ClearPath, and I look forward to sharing more information, getting this stuff on our website so people can reach out as they see fit and even end up with a dog if that's one of their needs. So thank you again for joining us. And for everyone else, it's going to be about a couple weeks, and for us, it's going to be like 2 minutes. So
Thanks, Sam.
thank you. We thank you for listening, and we hope you got something helpful out of this.
Right now, the best way to support us is to simply spread the word. If you know a fellow veteran who could use some resources to elevate their life, send them our way.
Until next time, remember to check your zeros, fives, tens, and 25s.